I got pregnant and the father of my child is our archenemy. I decided to keep the child. At the baby shower, guests were whispering, the little boy's blue eyes look a bit like Damon. I got panicked and told everyone, his dad is mixed, but then his dad happened to be present at the party as well, staring at me and his son intently. Welcome to Love Story. It's my son's 1-month celebration. Today more than half of the city's elite showed up at Elena's house to celebrate. I was in the bedroom, seeing my sons with heart full of love, feeling wonderful. His fair skin, thin lips, looked just like mine. Unfortunately, he got his dad's blue eyes. Luckily, being a newborn, he mostly sleeps and doesn't open his eyes often. I made sure he was asleep before carrying him downstairs. As soon as I walked down, the guests turned their eyes on me. Some who were close with Elena's family approached and stared intently at my baby boy. Look at those thick brows, big eyes, the nose and mouth. He's just like old Mike. He sure took the good features of Mike, born with Elena's family's pride. Mike hasn't hair. My grandpa Mike was quite proud. Of course, he's my granddaughter's kid. How could he not be outstanding? Unlike Damon's family, no kids passed down, even till this generation, serves them right to have few hairs. Hearing Damon's family being mentioned, I hugged my baby boy tighter, worried. Grandpa, you're talking about your own great grandson's father, but I can't let Grandpa know about this. After all, Elena's family and Peter's family are rival in business. Technically, my son is the only bloodline left in this generation from the Damon family, the last of the line. The grudge between our family is passed down from great-grandfather's era and continues to this day. They're like water and fire. If Grandpa finds out my child is from Damon family, what will happen? To avoid suspicion, I quickly change the subject. Grandpa, little ones is weak. I'll take him back to the room to rest. The longer he's out here, the higher the risk of being found out. I don't know how Grandpa will handle this after if he find out the truth. My mouth really got ahead of me. I said it would be okay, when a piercing cry echoed. The baby woke up. I'm so damn unlucky. Son, you betrayed your mother. I fumbled to comfort him, but the more I tried, the louder he cried, until everyone at the party could hear. Things got out of control. At the worst time, murmur spread through the crowd. The baby's got blue eyes. Well, really? Am I seeing things? Those blue eyes do look a bit like demons. People started to spectate about the identity of my son. Even Grandpa seemed puzzled. I got scared. Grandpa hadn't seen my son open his eyes before, so he didn't know he had blue eyes. I nervously covered his eyes, and without thinking, I lied about his dad as mixed. Thankfully, I was quick on my feet. If they found out I had my rival's kid, my great-grandfather could roll in his grave. I'd be doomed. Elena, you're something. When did your taste change? Why didn't I know? Just as I was secretly relieved, a voice chimed in, sounding quite resentful. My heart skipped a beat. I took a few steps back, feeling guilty. Damon, what's he doing here? He can't know that he is child's father. No way. I slipped away quietly that night. He shouldn't have figured it out. The crowd parted suddenly, and there stood Damon, staring at me and the baby. I saw those cold blue eyes match my son's exactly. I glued frozen in place. Then I recalled that night, a year ago. He was just as cold, dangerous, and sharp back then. However, he eventually let me have my way with him. He wasn't like this back then. While I was lost in thought, Damon was already in front of me, emotionless as ever. His sharp eyes were downcast, fixated on the baby. Being watched like this, I was quite nervous. What to do? The baby's dad. Thankfully, Grandpa stood between us, knocking his cane forcefully, and speaking with discontent. Damon, what are you doing here? I remember we didn't send an invitation. Grandpa completely inherited great-grandfather's disdain toward Damon's family, always showing a cold front. Seizing the moment, I hurried upstairs with the kid in my hand, but Damon was faster. He blocked my path with a colder demeanor. Elena, the baby's dad. Before he could finish, my son cried out even louder than before. Ignoring the talk, I rushed to soothe him. Good son, you blocked that question for me. But for some reason he kept crying, and even struggled more, until a voice came from above. Let me hold him. It was Damon. Somehow the moment Damon took him, he stopped crying, even blinked at him with those same blue eyes curiously. Me? Oh no, son, are you so eager to recognize your dad? Maybe it's because of blood connection. Damon stood motionless holding little John. The vibe shifted to something unsettling. Sensing unease, I was about to take my son back, when Damon stepped back. He squinted his focus on the baby's eyes, then lifted his gaze slowly. In a sharp tone he asked, Elena, who did you say the baby's father was? I felt a chill run down my spine. I nervously avoided his curious gaze, couldn't help but mumble in my heart, could his vision be that sharp? Spotting John as his son at first glance, that's not how it goes in short dramas. Usually the heroine runs away, and even when the kid is his 4 or 5 years old, the hero doesn't recognize them before getting paternity test at once. How did he know just by looking once, with eyesight that good? He was rolling in the hay with me the other night. If it weren't for our families being sworn enemies, you'd think he had a crush on me, or maybe he had fallen for me. Damon, what are you doing here? This is my son's full-month banquet. Give John back to me quickly. I reached out to take my son back, but Damon raised an eyebrow and suddenly leaned in to look me in the eye. We were so close to each other, I could even smell the cool scent on him, just like that night, when he surrounded me from behind, engulfing me, and slowly, his kisses falling one after another, lingering in love all night long, uncontrollably. I choked up. Elena, wake up. Is this really the time to be thinking about that? John is still in Damon's hands. Damon's expression became even more conflicted, making me anxious. Surprisingly though, he actually handed my son back to me, and whispered something only we could hear. Elena, the baby is mine, right? That night I knew it was you. The whole thing with Damon was just an accident. Even though Elena's family and Peter's family are business rivals, he and I grew up together. Thanks to our victory-hungry elders, they just had to outdone each other through us, so every meeting turned into a competition by our families. Damon's and my parents were okay, not too hostile toward each other, but my grandfather and Damon's grandfather, they couldn't stand each other. Thanks to some old family feud, that bad blood trickled down, and Damon and I drifted apart. The accident happened after a night of drinking. Everyone in City A knew about the feud between Elena's and Damon's families, so we were rarely seated at the same table during events. But that night things just went out of our hand. The host totally set us up together, probably thinking it would stir up some drama. At the table we ignored each other. Even when toasting, it was more like a challenge, so we ended up drinking glass after glass against each other. Then somehow we ended up entangled together. When I woke up the next day, I found one more person in my bed, and my whole body is aching, and his hands were still possessively holding me by waist. My brain stopped for a few seconds, closing my eyes and then opening them again. I entertained every possibility, except the fact that I had actually slept with my nemesis. How did last night even happen? It couldn't make any sense of it, so I just put my focus back on Damon and swallowed hard, and with a moment of insanity, I reached out to feel his abs. They felt incredibly strong. Who would have thought that behind Damon's thin and aloof exterior, he was actually packing such wonderful body? Everything has already happened, so why not steal some more glances, and steal 1 or 2 kisses? Sadly he's the enemy, otherwise, I may try it with him again. So before I snuck away and erased all traces of that night, I kissed him hard everywhere. I thought it was a one-time opportunity, yet somehow he remembered, and even knew it was me that night. What are you even saying, Damon? I don't understand you. I took a few steps back, pretended not to get it, and went upstairs. He just called out after me, but I decided not to admit it. But Damon said, I can play the stepdad. Seriously, for his own son, he wants to be a stepdad. This news, the next day it blew up online on the top spot, trending, outshining all other hot topics. Commenters online were going wild, guessing at Damon's motives. Mike suddenly called out my name. I instinctively straightened up. Yes. Tell me, who's John's real dad? Who else could it be if not Damon? But of course I wouldn't say that out loud. I kept silent like a little quail, bowing my head lower and lower. Seeing my demeanor, Mike got so mad that he thumped his cane a few times. He was unhappy. Then he noticed the door. Billy, what's your business here? I'm here to offer congratulations. What else? Damon's grandpa adjusted his mustache nervously, his eyes darting around as he spoke. Damon's grandpa seemed eager, and it baffled me. My son wants to be John's stepdad. Didn't Damon tell Billy the truth? I sneaked a peek at Damon, who was also looking at me. When our eyes met, I felt my breathing stopped for a second, almost buckling under that unguarded gaze. Mike was shocked by Billy's words. He blurted out, Are you out of your mind? Billy seemed genuinely astounded, while Mike's suspicious gaze shifted to Damon. Why are you so keen on being a stepdad? Is Billy really so magnanimous? My luck was thoroughly out. Damon smiled gently at my grandpa. He can't wait to be John's dad. Then Billy surged forward, eagerly grabbing Mike's hand. Mike, if you'll just let me see little John, I would be very grateful. I would never mind Damon being his stepdad, even if you want Damon to marry into your family. I am okay with that. I was completely dumbfounded when Mike saw John in Billy's arms. And then, that he understood, looking at the big and small, the old and young, with their identical blue eyes. Mike finally realized the truth, gritting his teeth at me. Didn't you say John's father was a mixed breed? Seeing Mike that angry, I softly defended myself. Isn't Damon technically a mixed breed? I didn't lie. Mike was left speechless, choking from frustration, and just racked his cane non-stop. Someday your great-grandfather will be so furious with you, he'll claw his way out of his coffin. Seeing the actual situation, Mike glared at Billy even more, especially as Billy was happily holding John, bursting with laughter. My dearest John, you're so handsome. Billy, he's my great-grandson. Mike spoke again. But still my great-grandson, Billy countered joyfully. What do you mean yours? John's my blood too. While Mike and Billy were busy quarreling, Damon took me away to the room next door, closing the door behind as he pinned me against the wall, his eyes staring me. Elena, why did you block me? He asked. I've been trying to reach you. He tugged on my hand, pulling me in closer. Once again I felt my face blushed. Damon didn't say a word, just looked at me with a bit of indifference. I felt deflated like a balloon, losing air. And let him take control, he said. You touched me all over, and it still wasn't enough for you. You even bite my Adam's apple. One can still remember that moment. Now that I'm yours, you better take responsibility. In between pushing him, I accidentally torn his shirt's fabric. With that, Damon withdrew his hand calmly, fixing the torn fabric on his chest, and beside you ran off, carrying my child. Mentioning this scene to rile demons up a bit, his tone had a tinge of anger. You blocked me, abandoned me, you even hid the fact there was a child. When I found out you are back, the first thing you did is to throw a one-morn banquet for the baby. I was furious. I even thought about becoming a stepdad for your kid. The more Damon spoke, the more guilty I felt. But it's not like I had control over it. Our families were sworn enemies. If Mike found out I was carrying the rival family's kid, he'd skin me alive. And didn't you hate me too? I always thought Damon disliked me since high school. I first met Damon when I was 8. Mike took me to a party And we ran into Billy and Damon. The two old men locked eyes and immediately started bashing each other in front of us. They even argued over whether Damon or I was better. I hadn't met Damon before, but Mike talked about him so much, it was impossible not to remember, so I sneaked to peek at Damon from behind. He was a year older than me, standing there quietly, while the old man argued, showing no reaction. Then he saw me peeking in. Our eyes met. For a long time when the old guys weren't looking, he grabbed my hand and we slipped away. We made it to a pool in the ballroom. Once we were sure no one was following, he sighed in relief and we sat down. FHEW, we finally escaped. You're Elena, right? With a serious face he turned his head to look at me. I was surprised. He knew my name, but not that anyway. Mike always talks about you, so that's what you look like. He seemed curious about me, giving me glances over and over. Billy mentioned you too. He says you're smart. The best of your generation. Damon was really good looking, fair-skinned and soft, made me want to pinch him. But I didn't dare. I just sat quietly. We never expected our grandpas were like that. I heard from Mike that our families were sworn enemies. What does that mean, being sworn enemies? I had no clue back then, so Damon kindly explained. It means we're rivals. My eyes went wide. Does that make you my nemesis? Damon at 8 seemed conflicted, shaking his head then nodding. I was even more confused. So are we enemies or not? Our grandpas are enemies, but we aren't. He thought for a while before coming up with that. Honestly, he was too cute to be an enemy. If we're not enemies, we're friends. Then you're my friend. I was so excited I kissed him on the cheek. The teacher said, if you like someone you should kiss them. Damon's cheeks turned beet red, stuttering something about not doing that. I was puzzled. Doesn't liking someone mean kissing them? Unfortunately, before we could talk more, our grandpa's people found us, and we had to leave quietly. Later on, even though our grandparents stayed at odds, Damon and I became good friends. He seriously told me that real friends don't kiss each other randomly. Things stayed peaceful until high school. People thought we were rivals, always competing, but we helped each other in secret. Even our granddads mellowed with age, not as tense as before. Sometime they even showed friendly. I overheard Damon talking to his buddy, knowing our families feud as friends, spoke openly. Damon, how long will you keep competing with the Elena's family girl? Grade school, middle school, now high school. You going to do this your whole life? Even though we were friends, we were also rivals. After all these years, don't you get tired of it? It's normal to think like this. Damon's friend did endless competition. Wears anyone out? Yeah, tired. But Damon's answer pushed me into a deep abyss. Turned out he was tired too. Makes sense. Publicly rivals, privately helping each other. That kind of relationship must have exhausted him. By now he probably didn't like me at all. Maybe I was the fool all along. Our families had always been enemies, and no amount of effort could change that. Why not crush any delusions before I got hurt later? After that day I began avoiding Damon, even though I knew it wasn't his fault at all. But I just didn't want to keep going. You thought I didn't like you? Damon's whole demeanor was dark and heavy. Let's just leave it. Besides, now by some twist of fate, I've got his kid. It's not. In the past, Damon's tone was still strong and firm. He held my chin not too forcefully, making me look at him. His eyes were intense as he spoke each word clearly. Elena, I like you. I've always liked you since we first met at 8 years old. My feelings for you have grown every year. I know our family's relationship might cause many obstacles, but I'm not afraid. Because every heartbeat tells me I must catch up to you. This is the direction my heart wants. It's destiny. I am tired of liking you without saying it, tired of pretending to be rivals with you every day, and tired of the feud between our families. But at that time I didn't have the capability to do anything about it. When he finally had the power, she wanted to avoid him. Elena, I like you so much. That my whole heart is filled with you. Don't leave me, okay? His tall figure gradually bent down, and Damon unfolded my waist, whispering against my shoulder. For a moment I didn't know how to react, so I let him hold me. I blinked, feeling dizzy. Damon likes me, and has for so long. Something dampened my shoulder, Damon's tears streaming down. He softly apologized to me. Sorry, I should have confessed sooner. Can you not abandon me? Even if you want me to be a stepdad, I agree. Just don't leave me. It was the first time I saw Damon being so cautious. Just when I was about to say something, the tightly closed door suddenly swung open. Mike was holding my son, standing next to Billy, who was staring wide-eyed at Damon's torn shirt. Our posture shocked him. His voice altered. Elena, this is forced love. I coughed into my hand, hurriedly pushing Damon away to clear my name. Mike, I am innocent. But doing that only made the torn fabric on Damon's chest more noticeable, and combined with his tear-stained eyes, Mike became more skeptical. He tilted his body, promptly pulling Billy out. Don't look, Billy, let's go. Even before leaving, he remembered to hand my son back to me as well. This misunderstanding is even harder to clear up now. Damon acted completely unbothered, oddly inching closer to glance at John in my arms. There's no denying, the father-son bond is unmistakable. John chuckled gleefully at the sight of Damon. Can I hold him? He asked so cautiously. I handed John over to him. Watching Damon, I noticed he was quite adept at holding a baby, surprisingly. Doesn't your family have no kids this generation? I hesitated a bit before speaking. Mike's words about Damon being the only child of his generation weren't false. Then how was he handling a baby so well? Looking down at our son, Damon's tone was incredibly gentle. Knew you were returning home for the baby's month-old celebration, so I took parenting classes to become a stepdad. Wait, was he serious about this? Suddenly I was flooded with mixed emotions. I hugged him. The online buzz was non-stop. Damon wasn't leaving my place anymore. The entire internet was curious about who my son's real dad was, leaving messages online. They even wanted to see Damon's dad life. So finally, with his permission, I uploaded a few clips online. In the videos, Damon cradled our son gently, rocking him while humming a soft tune, radiating strong husband vibes. Our son puckered his lips and grinned at him. The internet exploded. His friend asked, can I kiss him just a little peck? No way, I'm his dad. The internet was in an uproar. Damon, however, posted a timed status on Facebook. Damon, the kid is mine. The person is mine. Been crushing on her for years. Pursuing again now. That post sent his Facebook spiraling into chaos. I shot him a bewildered look. He was earnest. I already explained everything between us to Mike, and they also felt guilty and promised not to interfere anymore. Elena, I will pursue you again. If you don't want to be with me, I'll respect your choice. You endured a lot having the baby abroad alone. Leave the child to me. Damon spoke with such determination. Even planning our future. What if I like someone else? Damon said, I will make sure you only love me forever, and only have me in your heart. Damon's epilogue. My love for Elena grew day by day. She is my little angel. I told her not to kiss anyone except me. How can I let her to kiss randomly? She didn't understand that all these years I am working hard, only because I want everyone to know that I, Damon, only love Elena, and finally I got her. We got married and also have a little girl too. End.